famous Oriental rabbis of yesteryear. We're approaching Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Some people mark it as a Hilula of a famous rabbi of his time, Rabbi Tzemach Halevy. Very, very famous rabbi in his time. I believe he would be, according to the Hayami website, they would mark, let's say, Rosh Chodesh Tammuz as the date of his Hilula. They're not too sure on the exact date, because I think it was that date where the signature of Rabbi Yehuda German, who was a great rabbi, they gave a haskama within regards to his Torah colossal work called the Pri Kodesh. So let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. So I believe, according to the opinion over here, he was born in Tunis around the year 1868. He was born respectively over there, and came from a family quite famous. I think his father's name was Natan Halevi, and his mother's name was Naima, I believe. She happened to be a French woman, I believe. And he was born in the city of Tunis. We've spoken about various places in Tunisia. Other famous rabbis came from, especially in Jerba, in Gabs, also in Tunis, and various other places also. So now it's actually interesting. It's reported over that his father's family name originally was from the city of Brody, which is, I think, Ukraine, or maybe part of or close to Gibraltar, if I'm not mistaken, of that age, or maybe nowadays. I'll have to check the whole geography and within regards to how they came about and the specific areas itself. But he would eventually, the family would end up in Tunis, and he would grow up in grandiose amount of Torah and Yirat Shamayim among the great rabbis of that specific vicinity in itself. He would, it's reported over, I think he would be connected also and study in the Alliance school system. Also, they call it Kol Yisrael Chaverim in Tunis. I think that was actually established in the 1878 over there. He would have been about 10 years of age at that point in time. Remember, the Alliance school system wasn't necessarily known for being a very, very Torah orientated school. So I believe he would also learn Torah, maybe possibly from other people also. But in this school, he would learn Hebrew, Arabic, French, and Italian. They were very well known for having broad languages and learning various different languages. The school system in itself, Alliance, was over there. He would serve under his rabbi. There was a great rabbi over there in Tunis, who he had a very close connection to, Rabbi Yehuda ben Meir German, I believe, or German. He happened to be the author of the famous Torah book called the Nachalat Avot. He's a rabbi I think we've spoken about, or maybe we even did a video on him not so long ago. We've definitely mentioned about him on various occasions before. The book called Nachalat Avot was a famous book of its time. I think it was printed actually in the year 1877 in Livorno and consisted of 111 pages. Now, Rabbi Yehuda German himself, his rabbi, was a great rabbi. I think he himself was born in the year 1812 and passed away in 1911. Had various different printings, not just Nachalat Avot. He would print the book Nosaf al Nachalat. He would give various different haskamot, especially with regards to the book of Rabbi Tzemach ben Natan Halevy, who we're speaking about at the moment, and was very, very well known in his time. His actual Hilula himself was on Yud Iyar, the 10th of Iyar. But let's get back to Rabbi Tzemach Halevy over here. He would get married. His, I believe, his wife's family came from, he would get married to the Buono family. I think they actually came from Gurana, if I'm not mistaken. They were Jews of Livorno that actually settled in Tunis. So many people would come from, I believe, from various parts of Italy and would move to Tunisia, so on and so forth, especially to Tunis. And remember, people were well-traveled where big prominent families come to a specific locale and establish themselves, which would turn out to be for hundreds of years. Now it's reported over, I think, come with the year 1881, it would have been, I believe, France would actually invade Tunisia at that point in time and would, let's say, turn the area into a French protectorate in of itself. And the Jewish community in Tunisia would undergo many changes. Remember, Tunisia at that point in time was a bastion, let's say, of Torah learning, especially in Jerba specifically. Now, French education among the Jewish people would become deepened, more education there will be within regards to that. There was modern Jewish literature. Journalism will actually develop at that point in time. And there was a community openness, let's say, to French culture. And the community also did maintain spiritual, various different religious institutions and had a deep, let's say, strongness to tradition. But I think And that was something that was actually taking place at that point in time. Come on, the year 1887, Rabbi Tzemach Halevy would begin writing, I think, inside a specific newspaper called Al-Jnan, I believe. This, I don't know if we've spoken about this before inside this series, but we would start writing over there. Come on, in the year 1891, he would publish his book called the Pri Kadosh. I believe this book, Kodesh, pre-Kodesh. This was various different drushim, various different sermons taking place, expoundations of the Talmud Bavli itself, the various different Masechtot. And I believe he would open up in the year 1905, 120 years ago, a printing house, a Beit Hadfus, as they call it. I think it was actually opened in a Jewish quarter, if I'm not mistaken, at that stage in time, main Jewish quarter over there. And this will be a publishing house that will print works in French and Judeo-Arabic. It was in 1907 he would continue his writing commissions. We'll start writing in the Al-Phonograph. I believe this was a publication, not sure if it was a newspaper or a magazine or what it was. Now it's actually reported over. He would, Rav Tzemach, author 27 literary works in Hebrew and also in Judeo-Arabic, and he would translate works from French. I think in his works, various different writings were actually written over there, which we have to speak about. He would, let's say, talk about, for example, he actually was known, if I'm not mistaken, to write about, say, the negative effects of French culture on the Jewish community. He was speaking about that. So seemingly, obviously, when other cultures creep into the Jewish community, sometimes one's got to be wary how it can suffice afterwards. Now, among the works he would write, over there, the Giz al-Amori. There was a Tatro al-Amori. If I'm not too sure, I don't know if these were plays or not. The Kinat Amori al-Tafalat Pi al-Bazarat. I think this happened to be Kinat of the Avat Ne'arim Bishvakim, and the Kinat Amori al-Taflala al-Ashka Me'a Azab Zofri. I think this was another one. Now, as we said before, we're not sure what date he actually passed away. Reported that it was 1912. It was. So if that would have been the case, he would have been about 50 years of age, approximately, at the time. He actually about 44 years of age at the time he passed away, if I'm not mistaken. But we don't know the exact date. I'm not 100% sure if that was a specific year. I'm just looking at this from the Hayomi website, which has a lot of biography articles on different famous rabbis from these specific vicinities. But his Haskama from Rav Garomon would actually have been given to the Pre-Kodesh on that specific date of Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Let's explore a few of the writings in the Pre-Kadosh, including page number 17. How important is to learn wisdom before one can grapple into learning the Talmud itself. Another teaching is Melamed shesamach geula lelo gava shegeula kishiyochlo gavohei haruach. Let's say this is featured very much in page number 21. Another teaching. Melamed bezeh shelo avosh milishon lo titen chasidecha lirot shachat. This is featured in page number 20 of it. I believe it was printed in the year 1819, if I'm not mistaken, in Tunis. This work was. Another one. Melamed chiyuv amutal al rashi alfei Yisrael lashiv rabim ma'avon. This is featured once again in Pre-Kadosh in page number 20 over there. So, so the Hayomi website will mark today as his Hilula, the Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Don't forget to learn more about him. Learn about the great Tunisian rabbis of yesteryear. Friends of the community, we're learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear. We've covered in this series already about 1,000 biography videos of great rabbis. We've maybe spoken about 125 Tunisian rabbis approximately, give or take a few. And that's very, very interesting, very great to learn about them. If you feel anyone's interested in watching any of these biography videos we're doing, please share these videos to other people also. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We are gearing near 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. We're a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We're like an online encyclopedia, and we're trying to learn. So everyone, just wishing you well. It's a turbulent time here in Israel. Pray for the safety of Am Yisrael at the moment, with everything going on with the war that's been taking place against Iran. It's been very scary time periods, but hopefully a period where there's going to be a lot of blessings, not just for Am Yisrael, but for the whole world, for humanity, and we're going to see good things happening all over the world. So please go onto the playlists on the channel and check over all the videos we've done on great rabbis from Middle Eastern countries, from Spanish countries, from Ottoman areas, and enjoy and share to others. Have a great day.